video, California. So right now I am on my way through beautiful scenic highway, California Highway 395. I think it's US Highway 395 towards Mono Lake. So I'm in Mono County, California. So right now I stopped at a pullover along US 395 to see the Mono Lake from a distance. It's a unique lake. They have some structures called Tufa. So I will tell more details as I go near the lake, and I'll show you this amazing lake. This is a unique lake which you can only see in this part of California. So let's now go towards the lake and go to the visitor center and see the lake from up close and see some of these Tufa structures. But here, let me show you some views from this vista point of Mono Lake.
This Mono Lake Vista Point is located at the top of Conway Summit, 1000 plus feet above Mono Lake. The viewpoint provides stunning views of the Mono Basin and surrounding Sierra Range. This Vista Point is a pull-off on Highway 395 as you head south towards Mono Lake and Yosemite. You get a great overview of the lake below, and there are also information plaques to explain what you are seeing. This overlook is around 10 miles away from Mono Lake Tufa State Natural Reserve. So the Tufas of Mono Lake could not be seen from this vista point. For that, we have to go closer to the lake, which I will show you later in this video. If you are visiting from the western part of the Sierras through the Sonora Pass or Monitor Pass to get there, this vista point should be on your way to the lake. This is a perfect spot to gaze at the beauty of the amazing Sierra Nevada mountains and get a first glimpse of the beautiful Mono Lake. This section of Route 395 from Route 15 near Cajon Pass to the Oregon state line is designated a Blue Star Memorial Highway. Blue Star Memorial Highways in the US are marked to pay tribute to the US Armed Forces. There was also this plaque explaining about Mono Diggins.
This is too bad. You should not write over these information boards. Not good, guys. Whoever did this.
As per the plaque, about 1 mile northeast of here lies Mono Diggins, the first extensive placer mining excitement east of the Sierra. A town, Monoville, boasted a transient population of 500 to 1000. One of the most ambitious hydraulic water projects of the time was the transportation of water from Virginia Creek to the Diggins by open ditches known as the Mono Ditch. The remains of the system may be seen by looking easterly from the highway summit or northerly from the bottom of the grade. From the vista point, I went to see the Mono Basin Visitor Center.
So I am at the Mono Basin Visitor Center. Let's go inside.
The Mono Basin National Forest Scenic Area Visitor Center opened in 1992 and provides an excellent introduction to the Mono Basin. The center has interactive displays that teach about many aspects of the Mono Basin's geology, ecology, and human history. The award-winning film of Ice and Fire, a portrait of the Mono Basin, gives a splendid 20-minute introduction to Mono Lake and is shown regularly. Two galleries are showcased, including the at Mono Lake photo exhibit and a changing art exhibit. The Mono Lake, a saltwater lake, is best known for its Tufa Towers or Tufa structures, which were formed with the interaction of the salt and the freshwater springs bubbling up from the bottom of the lake. The center has interactive displays that teach about many aspects of the formation of Mono Basin and Mono Lake. There are also many informational displays describing the various life forms that you can find within the Mono Lake. Rangers are present all day to answer any questions, and there is also a bookstore with a great selection of books about the natural and cultural history of the region. All year, interpretive tours explore many facets of the Mono Basin. At the visitor center, you can also purchase interagency passes, rent bear canisters, obtain California campfire permits and fuel wood collection permits. This visitor center is located just north of Levining on Highway 395, overlooking the beautiful Mono Lake. I spent some time walking through the interpretive trail next to the visitor center, learning about the geological and historical reasons for the formation of this beautiful Mono Basin and Mono Lake. The Mono Lake is a majestic body of water covering about 60 square miles, 13 miles east-west by 8 miles north-south. Estimated to be more than 1,000,000 years old, Mono Lake near Yosemite is one of the oldest lakes in North America. Throughout its long existence, eastern Sierra streams have fed Mono Lake with fresh water laden with salts and minerals carried down the mountains. With no outlet, water can only leave the basin through evaporation, and the salts and minerals are left behind. As a result, Mono Lake is 2.5 times as salty and 80 times as alkaline as ocean water.
So I am at a trail which is very close to the Mono Basin Visitor Center. This one goes to a trail which helps you see the plants and birds here. If you are into that, that is good to explore, but they recommended me to go to South Tufa, which is the main attraction here, which is 5 miles down through US 395 from here, and then take Highway 120, another 5 miles, and then I think half mile of dirt road which takes you to South Tufa, which is the best location to see the best Tufas in and around Mono Lake. So I'm going to go and check out that. I don't think I'll walk through this trail from the visitor center. You can actually get more information about this lake, the history of this lake, and a lot of interesting facts. Actually, when Los Angeles was developing in the 1940s, the water from the creek which dumps water into the Mono Lake was diverted to go to LA. Of course, for LA to become bigger like what it is now, to sustain its civilization in LA, but that affected the gull, the birds civilization here. Ecosystem was totally disturbed because water level went down in the Mono Lake, and because of that they actually moved away from one of the two islands which I will show you in the video. So So when it's interesting, so when the water level went down, there are two islands in the Mono Lake, and the bridge between these two islands got exposed. So coyotes and other predators from the big island went to the volcanic island, and that's where all the gulls were, and then they had to move away from that. So it's a sad story, but anyway, the nature preserved it, and now it's a unique natural wonder, and it's always good to explore when you are in this part of California. So if you see here, that's a volcanic island, and this one is the other island. So there was a bridge which was exposed when the water level went down, but then later on I think Californian government decided that it's not a good thing to do that, which was affecting the ecosystem here. So they decided to maintain a minimum water level, because of which the ecosystem is coming back, and if you walk through this trail you can explore different birds and the natural ecosystem here. I'm not going to do that today because I don't have time, but this is how it looks around the visitor center, Mono Basin Visitor Center.
You will notice a soapy or slippery feel to the Mono Lake's water. The alkaline water is very cleansing.
Actually, if you want to come to this part of California, especially along US Highway 395, which I think runs from Reno all the way to Los Angeles, better to travel during summer, because this area during winter get completely covered with snow, and then they might shut down some of these roads. So this is the best time, but today the temperature is more than 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's why I'm looking tired. I had to do a lot of hiking, conserving my energy. Let's go back to the car and head to South Tufa.
Mark Twain once wrote of Mono Lake, quote, "Its sluggish waters are so strong with alkali that if you only dip the most hopelessly soiled garment into them once or twice and wring it out, it will be found as clean as it had been through the ablest of washerwoman's hands." Unquote. From the visitor center, I went to visit the South Tufa area of Mono Lake. This easily accessible site offers spectacular views of the Tufa Towers and a 1-mile self-guided nature trail. The South Tufa is a federal fee area and national interagency passes are accepted.
So I parked my car at the parking lot of South Lake Tufa, and there is a small trail which takes you all the way near the Tufas. So I'm going to the Tufas. Tufas are interesting structures in Mono Lake. Basically, Mono Lake has so many inlets for water to come, mainly fresh water, which has calcium, but there are not many identifiable exits. So the only way water goes out is by evaporation. So you have salt water which has carbonate, so it becomes calcium plus carbonate, calcium carbonate, and these interesting structures are formed of calcium carbonates, and they are called Tufas. I think it comes from the Latin word Tufas or something. So yeah, it's an interesting natural wonder, another natural wonder right here in California.
Mono Lake's Tufa Towers are spectacular examples of what nature can do with a few basic elements. These unusual spires and knobs are formed when calcium-bearing freshwater springs well up through alkaline lake water, which is rich in carbonates.
These are the Tufas up close. Calcium carbonate forming interesting structure. Wow. And that's the Mono Lake.
The calcium and carbonate combine, precipitating out as limestone. Over many years, a tower forms around the mouth of the spring. This tufa forming reaction happens only in the lake itself. As the lake level drops and exposes the Tufa Towers, they cease to grow. The towers at South Tufa are estimated to be younger than 300 years old. Other tufa around the lake shore could be a few hundred years older. Far older tufa towers, some of them as old as 13,000 years, can still be found high above the current lake along Mono's ancient shore. Tufa is found in other alkaline bodies of water, but the variety and quantity of Mono Lake's towers are unique. The tufas are also formed as freshwater springs percolate through briny lake bottom sand. The sand tufas are intricate sand tubes and columns exposed as wind strips away their sandy coverings. As I mentioned, the best place to visit the Tufa Towers is at this spectacular South Tufa area.
So you can see here interesting Tufas and Mono Lake behind me. It doesn't smell that bad like Salton Sea, but you can still smell salty here. Beautiful. It's beautiful though. Blue color with mountains in the background of Eastern Sierra. You have this lake with many freshwater inlets but no outlet. A natural wonder.
The Mono Lake's modern landscape has been shaped over millions of years by faulting and volcanic activity. For the last 3 to 4 million years, the whole basin has been tilting westward and sinking while the Sierra has been rising. This ongoing process has created the majestic contrast of a desert lake bordered by high mountain peaks. As the western floor of the Mono Basin slipped downwards, its southern and northern margins tilted slowly towards its center, forming a bathtub-like basin that filled with water to form Mono Lake. About 13,000 years ago, following the peak of the last great ice advance, the Mono Basin filled with water, but prior to that, much longer ago, it actually overflowed for a short time. This Ice Age lake covered 338 square miles and reached a depth of about 900 feet, 5 times larger than the modern lake. You can see the evidence of Mono Lake's Ice Age glaciers in the morainal embankments at the mouths of Bloody and Leavining canyons. The Mono Basin's long history of volcanism is evident in the hills that mark the north and east boundaries of the basin, hills that date back some 11 million years.
Man, there are so many of these tufa structures in different shapes and sizes. You can imagine the shape they take when you see one. You can imagine so many forms. So unique and interesting structure in Mono Lake.
To the south of the Mono Lake lay the Mono craters, the youngest mountain range in North America. Panum crater, the northernmost of these craters, erupted only 650 years ago. Panum is easily reached from Highway 120, 3 miles east of Highway 395. Mono Lake's islands are also volcanic. Paoha Island is thought to be about 320 years old. Hot springs and steam vents in the basin show that volcanic activity is still present. I heard that there is an interesting location on the north shore of Mono Lake called Black Point, where you can see lot of cracks and fissures on the ground. I have shown you the beautiful Mono Lake with the classic view of these distinctive Tufas from the south side. But visiting the north side of Mono Lake and the Black Point is in my bucket list for a later time. It is estimated that about 13,000 years ago, a volcano erupted far below Mono Lake and caused the top to split up. This is how the cracks or fissures were formed, all made of layers of tufa, ash and sediment. A little bit of hiking is needed to reach the Black Point fissures to see the impact of the volcanic eruption in the Mono Lake. With time, as the top of Black Point cooled and contracted, narrow cracks or fissures formed on the summit, some of them only a few feet wide but as deep as 50 feet. However, in this trip, I decided to stay at the South Tufa and enjoy these beautiful tufa structures which comes in all shapes and sizes. The Mono Lake has been called a dead sea, but it actually abounds with life. Few organisms can tolerate Mono's salty alkaline water, but these few species thrive in astronomical numbers. The food chain begins with green algae, a microscopic one-celled plant. Algae uses decayed organic matter and sunlight to grow. In the winter, when the algae blooms, the lake may become pea soup green. Two animals feast on the algae, the brine shrimp and the alkali fly. The alkali flies can actually walk into the lake in an air bubble to feed on algae and lay their eggs on pieces of rock or tufa. An egg becomes a larva and then a pupa before the adult fly finally emerges from below the lake surface. The pupa stage of the alkali fly was collected by the local Kutsadika people and used as a food source and trade item. The half-inch long brine shrimp can be seen in Mono Lake from April through October. At the height of the summer season, an estimated 8 to 12 trillion swim in Mono's waters. Nearly 50,000 adult California gulls fly to Mono Lake from the coast each spring to nest where food and island nesting sites are plentiful. Mono's gull colony is one of the largest in California as well as one of the most important in the world.
Amazing structures. So that's it at the Mono Lake and spending some time with the Tufas. Saw some birds flying off Tufas. I think there is specific time, either morning or evening. You can come here, you can see birds actually having good time and spending time on top of these Tufas and then flying away. It's a beautiful sight. But any time of the day you come, the reflection of sunlight on the beautiful Mono Lake and these interesting structures called Tufas. It's a unique combination. I don't know whether you can see this in any part of the world, but at least this is something which is unique to California as far as I know. One among many unique structures present in California, natural wonders. So I'm heading back to the parking lot and we'll decide where to go next from here. I'm on US Highway 395 South. Wow, what a beautiful color contrast.
It was time to say goodbye to the beautiful Mono Lake, but the journey along US Route 395 and the Eastern Sierra continues.
So I'm back at the parking lot. So I'm trying to see if I can make it to the convict lake today. Let's get started from the parking lot. On my way down 395 south.
If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to my channel, Live to Travel. To get instant notification when I upload new videos, please press that bell icon. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next video.